Hello and welcome everyone to this edition of Company Law Lectures. Today we are going to discuss about Section 128. Section 128, which speaks about books of accounts, etc., to be kept by the company. This is as per the Companies Act 2013, and this lecture will be applicable to CA Inter students as well as CS Executive, CMA Inter, and CS Professional students. I would be now covering from section 128 to section 148, which speaks about books of accounts, financial statements, audit, and auditors in the next few lectures. So I hope these lectures would be useful to all of you for your exams. If you find these lectures useful, request you to please press the subscribe button and the bell icon for notifications whenever I upload these lectures. So, having said that, without wasting any time, let's get into the section 128. Now, section 128 speaks about books of accounts to be kept by the company. The first point of this particular provision is that every company shall prepare, every company, whenever this word every company comes in law, that is Companies Act, it would mean private company as well as public company. So every type of company which is registered under this act shall prepare. What shall it prepare? It shall prepare the books of accounts, the books of accounts, the books and papers required by the law, as well as the financial statement of the company. So three things the company will have to prepare. One is the books of accounts, second is the books and papers, and third is financial statement. This has to be prepared by the company for a period of every financial year. For a period of every financial year. Okay. Now, we will try to understand first of all the meaning or the definition given by the Companies Act for books of accounts and books and papers and to some extent financial statement. Books of accounts is basically such kind of accounts which give true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company. It shall give true and fair view of the state of affairs of the company, including its branch offices. So the company has to also maintain these books of accounts in accrual basis and as per double entry system. As per double entry system. Now, what is the definition of books of accounts? This is provided under section 2, subsection 13. What does it say? It says that books of accounts means records maintained in respect of all sums of money received and expended. That is receipts and expenditures of the company. Second is all the sales and purchases of the company of goods and services. Third is all the assets and liabilities of the company. And the last part is the items of cost as has been prescribed by section 148, which is also known as cost records of the company. Cost records of the company. Cost records would include cost of materials, labor, and overheads. Section 148 is something for which I would be uploading a lecture very soon once we move into the next chapter, which is audit and auditors. This speaks about cost audit and auditors. Okay, so books of account as defined under section 2 subsection 13 is records maintained in respect of all sums of money which is received and expended, means receipts and expenditures, sales and purchases, assets and liabilities, and items of cost. I hope this definition is clear. Now, as well as the books and papers. What does books and papers means? Mind you, books and papers includes books of accounts. So books of accounts is a part of books and papers. The definition for books and papers is given under section 2 subsection 12. And as per this definition, books and papers includes books of accounts. Deeds. Deeds means agreements. vouchers, writings, any documents as an evidence of any transaction, minutes. Minutes means minutes of meetings. Okay, there's a lecture which I have uploaded for minutes of meetings under section 118. Please, you can go ahead and check that video. And finally, registers which are maintained under section 88 by the company. So all these things included are books and papers. And finally, financial statement which will include financial statement which will include balance sheet, receipts and expenditure, statement of receipts and expenditure, or P&L, cash and fund flow statement, and statement of changes in equity, and any other notes which are a part of the financial statement. All these are included under financial statements. I hope this is clear. Now, all this financial statement, books and papers, books of accounts have to be maintained by the company either on paper or electronic form, either on manual paper or electronic form. The rules in which the rules which are applicable for a company to maintain the books and papers or books of accounts in electronic form is covered under Rule 3, for which I would be separately updating and uploading an video next after this video. This particular books of accounts, books and papers, and financial statement has to be prepared by the company and kept at which place is the next point. Kept at which place is the next point. So it has to be kept at the registered office of the company. It has to be kept at the registered office of the company. Okay. Provided that all or any of the books of accounts may be kept at any such other place within India as the board of directors decide. So it has to be kept either at the registered office of the company by default or at any such place as decided by board of directors of the company. But such place shall be within India. Within India. So the decision is taken by the board of directors and it shall within 7 days, within how many days? Within 7 days, file with ROC a notice in writing giving the full address where such books of accounts will be kept. So if the company keeps the books of accounts, books of papers, and financial statement at the registered office, it is well and good. If the directors decide to keep it at such other place within India, then it has to file a notice with ROC, writing and giving full address of that particular place. Now this is clear. So this was about books of accounts, books and papers, and financial statement as far as preparation and maintenance and the place of keeping such documents. Next part is wherever a company has branch offices, wherever a company has branch offices in India or outside India, then in that case, how will the company prepare and maintain such books of accounts? See, in case the company has a branch office in India or outside India, then it would be deemed to comply with the provisions of subsection 1 if the books of accounts relating to the transactions affected at the branch office are properly summarized and a return for the same is periodically sent by the branch office to the company at its registered office. So for example, a branch is at Dubai, then any transactions which have been affected at Dubai and periodical summary of the same, periodical summary return has to be filed to the HO, say at Mumbai. If this is done by the company, then it would be deemed that it has complied with the provisions of the subsection. So the actual books of papers, actual books of accounts, financial statement for that particular branch office will be kept at the branch office. Has to send the summary or return to the head office at its registered office. This is clear. Secondly, the second point of this is that the head office, that is the registered office, has to ensure that this summary returns sent by the branch is open for inspection at the registered office or any such place where the books of accounts of the company are kept during the business hours. So inspection has to be provided. So for branch office, there are two things. One, a return has to be sent to the registered office periodically, and second, registered office shall keep it open for inspection of the summarized returns. I hope this is clear. The books of accounts of branch office is also clear for us. Now, next is, as far as inspection is concerned, the books of accounts, books and papers, and financial statements can be inspected by the directors of the company. Can be inspected by the directors of the company, which is covered under section 128, subsection 3. Now, any director, whether it is an executive director, whether it is non-executive director, whether it is nominee director, any director can inspect the books of accounts and other books and papers of the company during business hours. During which hours? During business hours. A person can inspect the books of accounts of a subsidiary. This is another point. A person who has been authorized by the company can inspect the books of accounts of the subsidiary only on authorization by way of board resolution. So there has to be a board meeting which has to be held, and a board resolution needs to be passed to authorize a person to inspect the books of accounts of the subsidiary company, not the registered company. Registered company, any director can inspect. In case of subsidiary company inspection, then in that case, an authorization by board resolution is compulsory. I hope this distinction is clear. The next point is the director can seek information on individually. If a director wants any information of any financial statement or any financial information which is maintained outside the country, in that case, the director can seek the information individually and not through his agent or his attorney holder or his representative. So he has to personally make that request for information of financial information which is maintained outside India. This is about outside India. Of this, all these 3 points for inspection by directors is also clear to you. Okay. Next is period of preservation. It shall be preserved by the company for a period not less than 8 years. Not less than how many years? 8 years. Okay. So minimum 8 years they have to maintain, preserve. But in case if there is an investigation which is ordered by central government, then in that case a central government may direct to keep these books of accounts, books and papers and financial statement for a period which is longer than the 8 years which have been prescribed. So I hope this point is also clear. Now, who is responsible in the company? The persons who are responsible to maintain the books of accounts or books and papers and financial statement. Who will be made responsible? Who will be facing penalty if they do not maintain it properly? The persons who are responsible have to take all reasonable steps to secure compliance of the requirement. What is the requirement? Requirement is that the company has to prepare and maintain it at the registered office of the company or any other place where the board of directors decides to keep it. And proper filing of where they have kept other than the registered office has to be made with the ROC. If this particular and the books of accounts have to be preserved for at least 8 years. Who is responsible for it? The managing director of the company. The managing director of the company. The whole time director of the company who is in charge of the finance department. Whole time director of the company who is in charge of the finance department. The chief financial officer or any other person who is authorized by the board. Now, as I told you, if the person does not maintain the book as has been given in the requirement or the provisions, then in that case there will be penalty including imprisonment which may extend up to 1 year and fine of minimum 50,000 which may extend up to 5 lakhs. So I hope this provision is absolutely clear to all of you. Only one thing which is remaining for me to discuss with you is the rules with regards to keeping the or maintaining the records in electronic form, which I will come up with a separate video. So I hope this particular lecture would be useful to you. And in case it is useful to you, please do like the video, do share the video with your friends, and subscribe the video. It keeps my motivation up. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.